Welcome to another episode of Do I Need a Reason? And today we talk about the ever popular action-adventure game Assassin's Creed and how it came to be. As we all know, this beloved series has had its ups and downs, but the game wasn't the only thing to have ups and downs. Meet video game designer Cruz, the man behind the idea for the Assassin's Creed video games. He is known for many other games such as Hype the Time Quest, Disney's Donald Duck Going Quackers, and Prince of Persia The Sands of Time, all of which were brought along by his designing expertise. Patrice Desilets had the idea of rebooting the Prince of Persia franchise. The original creator, Jordan Mechner, was brought in and asked for his blessing and ideas on the new look, which he wholesomely agreed and wrote the story for Prince of Persia The Sands of Time. The game was a huge hit, so Ubisoft had immediately commissioned for some sequels for the franchise. Teams were made to work on the game, but Ubisoft pulled Desilets to the side and told him to come up with the next-gen successor for the Prince of Persia, so the title would be released for the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Desilets was a huge history buff, and that's when he began some research on the Middle East to come up with some new inspiration for the next big hit. Then it came to him in the form of the Hasashin, an order of assassins from the 12th century. The Hasashin had the tendency of publicly executing their targets with over-the-top assassinations in order to have their enemies fall in line and rule with fear. This is when Desilets took the best of the story-driven ideas and the parkour aspects of Prince of Persia and added some stealth aspects from the Splinter Cell franchise to help his new vision of the game, where the player could complete acrobatic feats in an open world environment while jumping in and out of the shadows. He was partnered up with Jade Raymond, an expert in creating vast open worlds. Desilets used history books to try and keep the story as well as the setting as close to the way of the Hasashin. Masaif was recreated, which was the home base of the Hasashin, as well as the cities of Damascus and Jerusalem, along with the real historical figures were brought into the works of fiction. But Ubisoft didn't want to be too similar from the Prince of Persia, so a modern sci-fi twist was added to the mix. Players would meet regular guy bartender Desmond Miles, who is a descendant of Altair. Desmond is kidnapped by the Knights Templar, now known as Abstergo Industries, a longtime rival of the Assassins, and is forced to relive his ancestors' action in the late 12th century through a machine called the Animus. The game was both a huge success and disappointment. Assassin's Creed connected with gamers and sold more than 9 million copies, but game critics were less than thrilled with certain elements of the game. The innovative combination of stealth and action meshed well together, but there were some aspects that just felt too extraneous to the reviewers. Players were sent off to a few too many side quests during the main story, and the sequences outside of the Animus with Desmond didn't really compare. Combat was fun but lacked polish. Thankfully, those 9 million copies spoke much louder to the brass at Ubisoft than the middling reviews, and the long-term franchise was born. In 2009, Assassin's Creed 2 had come out and won multiple Game of the Year titles, and in 2010 came the release of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which Desilets was uncredited for, and in May 2013 was when Desilets was terminated from Ubisoft without any merit. And around the world, this game is still both loved and loathed, so we should ask ourselves about our opinions for this franchise. Do we really need a reason?